Hey guys, don't you know it's time for another episode of BunchaSquares SMP here on the BunchaSquares server. And yeah, it has been a while. It has been nearly 2 months since I've actually sat down to record an episode. And a lot has changed in that time for me. I know I mentioned this somewhere back in Season 2, but I was accepted into law school. And between the last episode and this one, I have actually moved. I am in a new place, a new apartment. I am living on my own for the first time ever, and I'm really just kind of starting to get used to it. So I can't say for certain how frequent my uploads will be in the future. And that's just kind of, ripping the Band-Aid off. There's going to be a lot of stuff changing. I'm going to have a lot of restrictions on my time and not a lot of free time to do things with. I will try to continue this series as much as possible, and I will continue to try and keep this server up for the people who do want it, but I do notice that a lot of people haven't really been playing lately. It's kind of been fairly slow. It's mostly been me and one or two other people who have been the bulk of the server's activity, and I haven't even been on. I didn't even realize that 1.16.2 had released until... Oh wow, that was a terrible shot. And had released until a couple of days ago. So it's been about a week since 1.16.2 released, and I did not even know it. So, yeah, apologies for that. I don't know what this is going to look like going forward. Hopefully we should be able to have some scrumptious building and whatnot going forward, but it might take the form of something other than the SMP. And as far as Pixelmon goes, I don't know when I'll have the time to jump back into that. I'm going to try and do another, at least an episode 3 of that, and go through one of the gyms, because I did find one of the gyms that I was looking for, and that's actually outside one of the villages. I think episode 2 actually had that in the thumbnail, but that's not why we're here. Today, we have a couple of things that kind of need to be done housekeeping-wise. What are we building here? What is the goal of this entire area? Well, you may not know this just looking at it, and since it has been a while, I kind of forgot where I was, honestly. I had to actually go and look this up in the last episode to see what I have changed. But I have changed a considerable amount of the things here, and I've added this entire cliff area, as you can see right here, over here actually, just to provide sort of more building space, more consistent flat area out here, and also to create some cool cliffs that I think I will do something with in the future, running along this little riverbed, and maybe eventually I will do something to convert that river to make it super extra duper cool. Anyways, the point of this is I no longer like this structure, and I know as sort of a villager trading hall, it was a bit of a fail. It's definitely more convoluted than it needed to be, and I think it's cooler when you can just let the villagers roam free, so that's basically what we're doing within reason. We are going to be setting up a great big village, and I think I might actually go a little retro with this, and some of these building layouts may be identical to the ones pre-Village and Pillage update. So I might have some old Minecraft-style villager housing here, which I think would be kind of cool, kind of a neat throwback, and might lend it its own particular ambiance. And it still does kind of tie into the style that I have over here in the village, or the Norse village. I'm not even sure what to call this area anymore. But I don't know if I really want to carry this entire aesthetic over here to the main village, because there's just a lot of small houses and a lot of beds that I want to make. As you can see, I've started making a bit of a layout. There's also going to be mini farms and stuff. Think a town in Skyrim. Something like Rorikstead, if you're familiar with that, where, there's a bunch of little buildings, but there's also, fields and cows and stuff that are in between the buildings, and I think, stuff like this here might make a nice little pen for some animals. Some flowers can go here in between buildings. One of the main carryovers that is going to stick is going to be these towers. I'm going to make at least another 2 or 3 of them. I want one here. I'm thinking I might want one on that island. I don't know about this. I do think... let me get up over here. I'm not sure if I've mentioned this, but I do want to get to the point where I've mined enough blackstone and stuff to turn this into a semi-active volcano, because I think that will be kind of cool. Yeah, this area might be mostly field and crops down here. I'm not sure quite yet. This is obviously like very early in the planning stages, which is weird because, you know, I've had months to work on the idea. But mostly I've been, busy, I'm sure you guys can understand. It's been strange. It's been a weird time for me, and given the weird times in the world, yeah, it's just been made doubly weird. Okay, so the other thing that we have going on here is this structure. And this is what I'm calling sort of the replacement for that. A lot of these houses might not have your typical workstation blocks. For the villagers that live in them, there will be beds, etc. But here, I plan on making that the beds and blocks an integral part of sort of this more modern hotel area, I guess. I guess the story I'm making here is that this is an old traditional village, and you have more of the modern world slowly moving into it in the form of this nice big fancy hotel, which won't be that big or fancy, although I do plan on having a pool on the roof, because I've always kind of wanted to do that in Minecraft, and I've never really done it well, so I'd like to do that. But yeah, it's going to be a few stories, 4 or 5 stories here, I think 5 stories, yeah. 5 stories here, and integrated into it will be a bunch of workstations, so a bunch of villagers will choose to, of their own volition, come in here, stay here, work here, and hopefully sort of create sort of a general population that focuses in this area and kind of spreads throughout the town from there. I think that is kind of a cool idea. There will be beds in each of the houses, but only like, 1 or 2. I've tried to torch spam the entire area to light things up, although I am finding areas where things have started to spawn anyways. I know I'm rambling a little bit here, just bear with me. It's been a while since I've recorded a video, and yeah. So I've gone over to the shopping area real quick just to check on some things, and I do see that I have some mail. It is a single bone. Thanks for that. It looks like we have had a creeper explosion outside the post office, though. That isn't good. I don't know exactly how this is supposed to look, but somebody will hopefully fix that in the near future, but I'm not holding out hope. Like I said, I get the feeling that a lot of people have kind of moved on from the server, so I kind of want to finish up some things that I'm working on. And I don't mean to say that this is the end of BunchaSquares. I really, really hope it's not. But, like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on for me and in the world, and if this server's not going to be super active, I don't know if I can justify paying for it, because I am paying for it right now out of pocket, and I mean, it's decently priced, but it's not cheap either, if that makes any sense. Yeah, I need to fill this up at some point. Yeah, it's just one more thing that I'm having to pay for. Ooh, a couple of diamonds there. Okay, 26 diamonds. Yeah, I know I'm interrupting this rather serious discussion. Let me sit down on the dock here, and I will kind of just finish this up. So, the point I'm trying to make with all this is, I really wanted BunchaSquares to take off, and this season has done actually really, really well, or at least it did initially, but it was kind of hard, and it still is kind of hard, to find people who are of the same mindset about Minecraft that I am. And until I can really find a good group, I'm not sure, and this group is good, don't get me wrong, but the approach was different. I kind of want to do sort of a measured, balanced, maybe too slow of a pace for a lot of people, where projects do take a while, but that's because, there's the acknowledgement that there's real life out there, And a lot of the people on the server have done amazing things, but they did them so quickly that they quickly burnt themselves out. And really, I want people who are casuals like me, who want to join in and who are willing to kind of take the time and put the effort in and actually wind up with something that, looks really good. Despite the functionality or whatever else there might be, I kind of want to see that. And I feel like I kind of got left behind on this. It wasn't anybody's fault, far from it, but it kind of made it so I was kind of limited in my my drive to finish projects because I felt like I had to be playing catch up the whole time. Other things, oh my goodness, there's another creeper hole here. Replace your divots, people. Yeah, other things, the shopping district became such a focal point that a lot of effort has gone into some of the areas here, but others things have just kind of gone by the wayside, and nobody's finished their own projects or, pushed towards finishing them. There's some really cool stuff. Some really, really cool stuff, but I never feel like it's taking the full picture in. Look at this. Look at this. We have brilliant structure. This was one of the first things Joe Darby made on this server, and it's a brilliant little shop. It looks excellent. And it's kind of let down because the surroundings, the shop went up and nothing changed around it. And there's a lot of stuff like that. And you can see that in my area for sure, where I've finished, a couple of the building's exteriors, but the mountain itself still looks pretty lackluster. So I'm wondering, and I'll throw this out to you guys, if there's maybe a good way of for future episodes or future seasons that you could see me essentially forcing my focus, where I can only build within a certain area in a certain episode, or between episodes I have to focus on making a certain space as perfect as possible. I don't know how to do that without, limiting myself to chunks or limiting the effectiveness of what I'm trying to do. But if somebody could come up with some kind of solution for this, and I know, once again, this is a rambly episode, I'm probably not actually going to get a lot of building done, but I do kind of want to throw this out there. Also, I want to know what you guys want to see. I don't get a lot of feedback in the comment section, and I'm asking for it now. What do you guys want from my Minecraft videos? I'd love to see this channel take off a bit more. I'm at 57 subscribers. I think I was briefly at 60 after Pixelmon, and or at least the first episode, and since then, obviously, some people have left because I have been absent, and I understand that, but I want to see a channel that I run finally break 100 subscribers. It's not a big goal, but I've been working on it for years, and I have not cracked the code. Maybe people want more tutorials. Maybe people want to see me learn to do redstone. I don't know how to do redstone, like in the least. And I could sort of create a clinic out of that at some point. That could be kind of cool. Building tutorials, more Pixelmon if people want that. If people want other mods looked at. If people want a single-player survival experience from my perspective, that's always an option. Just let me know in the comments section down below. I'd love to hear from you. Okay, moving on. Alright, so the little hotel over here has been, there's been some progress made. Basically, given the prank that was played on me a while ago of the chests filled with light gray stained glass, well, I've got about 2 shulker boxes that are just light gray stained glass panes. So I'm putting them to good use right now, and I think, honestly, if we fly up here, this should look pretty good from the outside. I have to move around where I can see it. Yeah, and I'm kind of getting this nice sort of modern pattern to it. And I know I said this is kind of like the village transitioning to modernity. And that's kind of where I'm aiming for right now. I think that will look pretty good. I'm going to actually start over here now. That was beautiful. I thought I would totally land on my face there, and I didn't. Yeah, so I'm basically going to give this edge a little bit more height, because I think I'm going to stop this here. Yeah, okay. Talking to myself, guys. Talking to myself. Okay, so one of the issues when you're trying to move a bunch of villagers from place to place, biggest deal is, yeah, actually getting them to walk where you want them to walk. I don't want things, you know, guys wandering off the edge of things here. I want it fairly straightforward to get them to move en masse, whatever you want to call it, from there to here, move into their nice new rooms, and have it be good. And basically, it's kind of going to be a two-step process. I need to make sure that they recognize this area as where they're supposed to go, but I don't know if this is too far for them to naturally pathfind 2 blocks over here. So I'm going to kind of have to set up sort of a chain of blocks to get them to follow this area. And I have some beds set up. I'll have to break the beds that are inside this old structure. And I'll also have to break the workstations and move them maybe as a two-step process into the new building, which isn't complete, obviously. I think this looks pretty good, though, as far as that's all concerned. All the glass is installed on the outside, and I honestly think if you come over here and check this out from down here, yeah, that's going to look really good once the cliffside is actually complete. So that is all good. That is all well and dandy, and I think we are fine to start, well, figuring out the moving procedure here. Okay, so I've done something a little bit different here to try and sort it all out. Villager pathfinding, I did look it up, and I found out that they can only detect stuff, I think, 32 blocks away, which I think makes sense, because that's about the size of their typical area in a village. So I need to get them to wander partway over here before they will even consider coming and checking out the beds in the hotel. So I need to do some flashy advertising, and as you can see out the window, I've kind of jerry-rigged a solution here where I have a bell partway down that cobblestone pathway. Basically what happens is I ring it and I get them to come, you know, running over to me, and at that point I have stationed a bunch of workstations. So they come up here, they start doing their work, and I go back and destroy the beds that they've been using. Basically what that means is they have to pathfind to a new bed, and hopefully eventually enough of them will wander over. I'm not hoping to get all of the villagers over in there right now, because honestly I don't think there's enough bed space in all of the hotel, and like I said, I'm still in the middle of constructing it, but this is going to be a lengthy process, so I figured I'd better start it now. Anyways, I'm sure there are easier ways of doing this. I probably could have just hooked up like a non-stop minecart rail thing and just brought them over one by one and forced them to pathfind here. But this actually works out just fine. Oh my goodness, it's working. This is totally working. So basically, they've all come out. They've all come to work. But now they are funneling in. Oh my goodness, that is fantastic. Oh, I need to ring the bell again. I need to ring the bell again. Okay, if I ring the bell... No? Okay. Well, that was good. That was good. They all started pathfinding toward the hotel. That is fantastic. Oh, that's great. So we've got some even up on the 3rd floor now, I see. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. That means that when night rolls around, a lot of these guys are going to go straight to the hotel, and that might make it easier the next day for the people who are still hanging out in here, because I don't have any beds left. They will likely start making their way out of here as well. Oh, that's cool. Alright, so we have the last few stragglers over here in this corner, and honestly, that should be about it. I think we've actually made it, so all of the villagers will have wound up over here in the new apartment building, or the new hotel, or whatever they want to call it. This is kind of interesting. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, that's not good. That's not good. That isn't good at all. Okay, I need to put a block there for right now. I don't think they can do that on any other floor. No. Okay, alright. Yeah, I need to make sure that that doesn't happen. Otherwise, we'll just have like a cycle of villagers standing up here, myrtleizing themselves, and that would be no good. There, that's a little bit better. Okay, I think I want to make a better long-term solution for that, but that actually looks decent, so I think I might leave it for right now. Okay, so I'm hoping that now that it's night, a bunch of these villagers will pathfind to new beds. I think that takes a little bit of time for them to figure out, even now. Ideally, I'd like each floor to be only the villagers that need that sleeping area. Like, all of the farmer villagers would be here, and all the fishermen and whatnot. And upstairs, like, all of the librarians would be. Because otherwise we're going to wind up with situations like the staircase right now, which is just absolutely overloaded. In which case I might need to add an additional staircase that I wasn't foreseeing here, but you know, this is not a bad deal so far. This is not a bad deal at all. This is definitely at least marginally more manageable than what was going on over in that building. Still need to figure out exactly how many villagers we have right now, because I don't want any extra beds. That was part of my problem with the first one over there, was there were just too many beds. And right now, every bed that was over there is over here. So we need to start. That's a good one to eliminate. This bed should not be occupied by anybody. There's a villager outside who really should come in and find a place to sleep. How about I throw a bed down here for him? He'll like that. He'll like that a lot. Here he comes. Psych! Alright, so with all villagers asleep, it turns out that we have plenty of extra beds. Maybe far too many extra beds, in fact. It might be a little excessive. Hopefully, at some point here, we can like modify these guys' pathfinding so that doesn't happen so much. So we can kind of limit how many people are on a floor at a given point. Basically, what we need to have happen is once it becomes time for these villagers to work, we just need to block up the staircase real quick, and then come nighttime they'll have no choice but to sleep in one of the beds that's there, and that way we should get the villagers on the floor that they're supposed to be, and they will probably generally stick around that area. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, guys, I think this is coming along quite well. I'm going to be adding a water elevator right over in this direction, an up and down, and essentially blocked off from the villagers so they can't get to it. But it's going to be for my own personal use because, like I said, I'm going to be adding a pool on the roof of this building eventually. So this has come along quite well in the course of an episode. It took way longer than it should have to get most of these villagers over here, and we still have a couple who are being, well, just troublesome. But we'll be able to deal with that shortly. I can see that a few iron golems are already moving into our structure here as well. We might have to come up with a method of dealing with those, but I think for right now we are going to leave this episode here. Thank you so much for watching. If you sat through my rant earlier, be sure to tell me what you think of BunchaSquares going forward, or other Minecraft series, or anything you want to see on my channel. So, yeah, I will see you in the next episode. Don't know when, don't know where, but I will see you at that point. So, this has been this time, that will be that time, and I have just run out of time, and I will catch you in the next episode. Bye!